We met Martha in her second year at Cardiff University reading English literature. Did she have a career in mind when she chose her subject?
When I was doing A-levels, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I thought I should just choose the A-level that I was most enjoying, and that was English literature. And I hoped that by choosing it that way, it would be more likely that I'd end up in a job that I enjoyed because I'd done a degree that I had enjoyed. I did think about teaching because I've taught children swimming before, which is obviously different from what I would use English literature for, or in like a classroom or something. But I did enjoy teaching and working with children, so I've thought about that.
But now Martha is considering a career in public relations, marketing or advertising.
I thought about kind of marketing, maybe advertising has always kind of appealed to me because of the artistic kind of side of it as well, because I did art at A-level. I thought if I had some more direction, if I just chose something and then had direction, then I'd be able to like kind of get the ball rolling, get work experience.
Has she got any relevant experience?
I wanted to contribute some articles, the student, the magazine, which is called Quench, but I've always not quite maybe been confident enough to like put articles in. I've had like a couple, but that's not as many as like I really intended to have in. But so instead of writing articles, I've just proofread because that's kind of the easier option. But I have enjoyed it, and it's been quite interesting, like seeing the editors work and stuff in the office.
To help her find out more about careers in public relations, we introduced Martha to Matt Appleby, who is director of a PR agency.
What kind of skills and qualities do you think a person wanting to go into PR work would need?
We look for people who are versatile and adaptable. In our business, it's a consultancy environment, so you can be working on a hotel client in the morning, a legal client in the afternoon, and then a launch of something entirely different, retail in the evening. We expect people to get their heads around quite complex things and be able to kind of do that juggling. The key quality we look for in terms of the day-to-day job is a good eye for a news story and the ability to craft content. So how do you go into a client and help to draw news out from that client and then turn it into something that will be interesting to their audiences, whether that's a newspaper article, a video for online.
I was hoping to ask you how you got into the kind of area, because I was thinking about it but I don't really know too much about it.
Okay, while I was doing my degree in my final summer, I managed to get myself a couple of weeks of PR work experience, immediately followed then by a couple of weeks of journalism work experience, to just try and give myself the best way of making my mind up.
What would you say the challenges and setbacks are to a person trying to get involved in PR?
I think it's very competitive to get into. Clients have very high expectations.
Yeah.
You work to the news cycle, so it can be a 24/7 job as well, in terms of you need to work when the clients need you to work or the media needs you to work. A lot of people say we want to get into PR, but then when you quiz them, they don't really have much of an idea of what PR is necessarily. They haven't done their research. They couldn't sit there and tell me what they think PR is or why they think they're suitable for it. And I think if you can go into an employer and say, well, I know that certainly a junior PR role is 70-80% writing and creating content for clients. So I've spent the last year, working for the student newspaper or student radio station or something like that. You're immediately able to show that you understand what the role is and you've actually got a bit of experience in that area.
Is it unusual for someone not to know what they want to do after they graduate?
I don't think it's unusual at all, and I think if you went round my team where I am, we've got business graduates, language graduates, all sorts. We all wanted to do something in the media, and the challenge then is to go out while you're still at university and find out what that means and what that might be and what those jobs are. You've got to do your research. You've got to go out and find out which of those jobs would be suitable for you and that you would enjoy. Career services obviously can help, but there's also the professional organisations, people like the Chartered Institute of PR, who can give you good access to information and also are a good place to start networking. If you want to join as a student member, you get access to their events and can go and meet some PR people and ask them those questions. If you're interested in PR, there'll be a press office within the university, or you might be able to become a press officer for your student society or something. Look for ways in which, even within the university environment, you can start to get some experience. Write for the student newspaper, volunteer for the student radio station. Do whatever you can to get exposed to it and get some experience, because that's what we'll look for as an employer. And actually looking at her CV, and you've got to look at it quite hard because it's buried quite low down, she is actually working for the student newspaper. And that's right the way down in her hobbies, instead of right the way at the very top of her list of work experiences, which is where I think it should be, because that shows that she understands that's what I'll be looking for.
Martha was a bit apologetic about only doing proofreading.
I've just proofread because that's kind of the easier option.
But that's not how it looks to Matt.
I looked at that and saw that she'd done proofreading and thought, blimey, that's unusual. Most people are going to go and want to review gigs or something. And actually, accuracy and attention to detail absolutely crucial in any kind of client service environment. So I thought, blimey, the girl can proofread. Fantastic. Get that up right at the top of the CV, and then go and get some journalistic experience as well. Set your own blog up. Show me that you've built up a following on Twitter or whatever it might be. You don't necessarily even need to go to the trouble of walking into a room of student journalists and saying, I want to write your next front page. You can still show me evidence that you enjoy writing and that you understand different media and all those sorts of things. But again, it's about understanding what the business is that you're trying to get into and not falling into that trap of approaching a prospective employer and saying, well, I'd like to get into PR or advertising. Well, I run a PR business, tell me which one. It's quite easy to send me the PR letter and somebody else the advertising letter if you do want to cover your bets.
People are often told that they have to make their CV stand out. So what should Martha do so that hers gets noticed?
She wants to get into PR, so she needs to think about this in a PR context. This is her first PR opportunity. She's her first client, and I'm the audience she's trying to reach. So she's got to try and think of it in terms of what is it that I'm going to be looking for, and so then what is the content that she needs to create within that CV that's going to kind of push my buttons and make me want to read more of it. So I think she's got to show me that she understands what PR is and that she's gone out and got some relevant experience, or that her hobbies are relevant, and not just sort of present them in a list, but actually draw the relevant bits out in some way. So you get a CV that tells me her A-levels and GCSEs and things first, and then I've got to get to page 2, by which point we get dozens of these. I might not even get to page 2.
We met up with Martha again while she was doing a summer placement at the National Museum of Wales, working with their collection of paintings and drawings.
I've been doing just kind of menial tasks that I would have expected, like photocopying and Excel and filing, but I've also been doing some more hands-on interesting things where I've got to see the artwork, and I was in the studio where they conserve oil paintings, and I was like painting on one of their frames, which was quite exciting for me, and it was good to do something a bit more practical because I like doing things with my hands.
Had talking to Matt about the realities of PR changed her ideas at all?
It definitely made me realise that I need to just get as much work experience as possible, and I found it really interesting talking to him about his job, but the way he was talking about it, it made PR and marketing sound really focused on making profit. I think it made me realise that I'm not really motivated by money.
Martha's current plan for when she graduates is to gain a qualification to teach English as a foreign language.
I've been thinking about it since I did GCSE Spanish. I really want to travel, and there's lots of places that I want to go to, and I'd hopefully be able to teach English in a Spanish-speaking country, because I've done Spanish before. because I thought I might as well make the most of not knowing what I want to do as a job and go and travel around, because once you've got a job it's very hard to do that. So and I still think like working in different countries is still useful in like the workplace, because it makes you realise more what you are like and what you're good at and stuff.
What does a graduate recruiter think of Martha's career plans?
She's followed her kind of instincts to what she's been good at when she's been at college, doing her A-levels, choosing things that she's enjoyed, which I think a lot of us do, even I did that myself. And I think when you're at university, because you're there for such a long time, you've got to enjoy the course that you choose. And I think that's the reason why she's done that. And I think she's like a lot of students, she lacks her commercial awareness, she lacks what it is that she's wanting to do long term. She doesn't really understand her skills probably as to what she's good at when it comes down to it and what she's maybe needs to work on. She's not really aware of where she wants to kind of go.
And what tips would a careers advisor offer?
To sit down with her and talk through her aspirations, what she wants, what she enjoys, what makes her happy, what she deems as challenging and successful, and all of these aspects, and try and give her some tools to enable her to plot a path that's going to allow her to move forward. I mean, not having a plan doesn't have to be a bad thing, but having some sort of goal or something to work towards is definitely somewhere that she wants to be working towards.
Finally, if Martha had her time at university over again, would she do anything differently?
In my first year, I'd probably, looking back, should have been more productive and got more involved with the university and the union, doing things like volunteering and getting involved with the media. That would have been good.
So, what can we learn from Martha's story? Consider all the possibilities. Opportunities for English graduates are much broader than publishing and journalism. Think about your strengths and weaknesses and what motivates you. Research possible jobs. How do they match your profile? Get work experience. Relevant if possible, but any is good. Present yourself positively. You have lots to offer. Don't worry, it's common to take a while to make decisions about your future career. Your careers service has resources to help you.